Pennington here. It's great to be with you today. One of the questions that I have been asked a lot recently is what's the impact of artificial intelligence going to be on business, on my career, on my profession? And let's get this out of the way real quick. I'm not an expert in artificial intelligence. I'm not an expert in ChatGPT. There are a lot of other people out there who can show you how to use that tool. But we're going to look at it, and I look at it through the standpoint of what does it mean for change. And the reason I'm weighing in today is just earlier, a couple of days ago this week, I was with a state society of CPAs talking about the impact of artificial intelligence on the CPA profession. And I want to share with you just a couple of quick ideas that I shared with them to help you think about how artificial intelligence might affect your business, might affect your career, and also start thinking about what you can do to make sure that you're ready once it starts showing up and appearing on your career. So here's what we know for sure. And that what we know for sure is everyone is 100% sure that AI is going to affect how we work. I think everyone we talk with realizes there's that potential for AI to have an impact and potentially disrupt or certainly augment and support everything that we do. But no one is 100% sure of how that's going to happen or when it's going to happen or even at what level it's going to happen. But here's what we can tell from everything that we're seeing right now is that artificial intelligence as it is today, now that's the key point, as it is today, will be able to handle many or perhaps even most repetitive tasks, and it will put jobs at risk. And in the process, it could also minimize the impact of a shrinking number of professionals or people to do the job. So let's break that down for just a moment. It will handle many or most repetitive tasks. By the way, technology has always done that. This isn't new. If you go back all the way to, the Wild West, the telegraph put Pony Express out of business, and it could handle that repetitive task much quicker and much better and faster than guys riding on horses from town to town to town. And yet I'm sure that there were people, Pony Express riders, who sat in the bar after a long ride and said, man, I wonder if that whole telegraph thing is going to make a difference or not. Well, it turns out it did, and it put those jobs at risk. Likewise, though, people thought that the ATM machines would put banks and bank tellers out of business. And yet 10 years later, the number of bank tellers was actually even higher because banks used that technology to then expand out of fewer central locations to more decentralized locations. So there is a chance that artificial intelligence is going to put jobs at risk. We don't know 100% though if that's going to mean other jobs pop up in their place or if it will be like the Pony Express where jobs literally go away. But this isn't a new factor that we're experiencing right now. It's just the latest new factor. It's the latest new next, if you will. So as we're thinking about this, it's important to understand that hype doesn't equal intensity of adoption. There's a lot of hype right now around artificial intelligence, and certain tools like ChatGPT are getting a lot of use. But overall, it's hard to say exactly how quick the adoption is going to be. And I'll take us back to autonomous vehicles. Just a few years back, autonomous vehicles were all the rage. That's all people were talking about. And the idea was that we were going to have autonomous vehicles everywhere within just a few years. Well, it turns out it didn't quite work that way. And it's because of this thing called the theory of the adjacent possible. So it wasn't the fact that we couldn't build sensors in cars. I mean, we know how to do that. We've had airplanes that can fly themselves for years, perhaps even decades. That's really what a drone is, an autonomous airplane. At the same time, other factors didn't support autonomous commercial vehicles or commercial airlines. So it's going to be the same way with commercial vehicles. It's not that we can't build the sensors. It's going to be the network and the coverage of that is going to make them impractical, at least on a local basis right now. It's going to be the same with artificial intelligence, I think, in that there's some things that will have to happen in order for artificial intelligence to really, really grow. And so in thinking about this, it's really important that the words of Bill Gates stay in top of mind. And Gates said that we always overestimate the change we think will occur in the next 2 years, but we underestimate the change that will occur in the next 10. So now you need to be watching right now about where change is going and where this is happening. And I want to share with you 2 curves that will allow you to do it. The first is the adoption curve. And you've seen this before. The vertical axis is levels of adoption. The horizontal one is over time. And clearly, if you think about where we are right now, we are at the somewhere we've passed proof of concept. We're probably in the early adoption phase. There's going to be more mainstream adoption of what we have available right now. But as new AI tools become available, they'll have to go through proof of concept, early adoption, maturation, and sooner or later they will top out. So one thing to watch for right now is how quickly people start adopting AI tools. For example, just because you can use them doesn't mean that your clients will be able to use them. Sort of like social media. I'm not a particularly big TikTok person, not because I don't appreciate TikTok. I like to watch it. But at the same time, my clients have not adopted that as a method of communication via social media. They're more likely to look on where I'm posting this, LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, some of those types of places. So again, it's going to be not just your adoption or not just the availability. If you're in the B2B world, it will also be the adoption of your clients that will help drive how this is going to affect you. The second curve to watch for is the innovation curve. And innovation curve, again, if you look at the vertical axis, looks at the viability of an innovation. Across the horizontal axis, it's the capacity of the innovation over time. And at the top, you notice there's this thing called technology limit. By the way, my phone rang. I'll just hang it up real quick. It's the technology limit. In other words, when do we reach the limit on the technology? Now, viability comes from a combination of lowering costs and increasing quality. So if you think about that right now with the Apple headset that just came out for virtual and augmented reality, huge jump in quality apparently. I haven't seen it yet, but everyone thinks it's huge. Still, cost is pretty high and fairly prohibitive, but we know that the cost will drop. It's going to be the same with AI, and especially as you start combining AI with robotics and creating potentially an entire unique species of people over time. So I think it's going to be interesting to watch how cost drops and how quality increases. I know ChatGPT is sort of free right now, but just realize that's a very minimum. Artificial intelligence overall will have a cost-quality trade-off. And again, where are we right now? We're past proof of concept. We're sort of into the momentum and expansion. It'll be interesting to see how maturity develops and when we reach maturity with artificial intelligence, even as we know it today. By the way, some of that could be limited not by the technology, but by the control on the technology. So those are two things that you and I need to watch. And it does bring to mind this, okay, that's cool information. What do we do? Well, the whole thing of this, like any other technology, is how do you use technology in your business for change? And when it comes to change, we all have four choices. Level one is the easy one. It's adapt. It's what my wife said to me when she said, Randy, I'll never ask you to change. When we got married, she said, I'll never ask you to change, but I do expect you'll continually adapt. We do that. Level two, though, is anticipate. It's really important that you adapt and adopt what you know works right now, but that you start hitting level two change, and that's anticipating what's going to come out there and anticipating it through these four filters. Will it make me faster? Will it make my product or service better? Will it allow me to deliver what I deliver cheaper for both me and my customer? And will it create a better customer experience, which is sort of friendlier? Now, level three is pursue. And there are some things that we should absolutely be pursuing around artificial intelligence right now if it allows you to be faster, better, cheaper, friendlier with customers. So how about level four? Well, level four really isn't a fourth level. It's really a zero level. And that is, there are some changes out there, including what's happening with artificial intelligence, that you might choose in your business to ignore or even flee based upon what it is and how it fits with your values, your customers, your market, and how's it going to help you in your business. I continue to go back to the thing that Steve Jobs said. Of all the things that they created at Apple that they were proud of, some of the things he was most proud of were the things they decided not to do. There is, in fact, sometimes an advantage of ignoring change until you get a proof of concept, or maybe even forever, in order to be more effective. So I hope those ideas were useful. They jogged your memory a little bit and jogged your mind a little bit, because the question of artificial intelligence isn't what will it do. The question is, what will it change for us, for how we work, and for how we interact with our customers? Hey, if I can help, give me a call. You know where to find me. There's information on the video. We'll see you soon. Take care.